You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign. KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis. And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, and drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you.
Hi, everyone. This is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the #1 way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening.
Celebrity designer Jeff Lewis is back with Hollywood House Lift.
I'm excited to be working with new clients.
I'm not getting rid of that.
I hope I never see you both again.
An all-new season.
Those have to go. That has to go.
From oh, wow,
It's been an actual nightmare.
to oh, wow.
This is such an upgrade.
With celebrities like Josh Duhamel, Christina Ricci, and Gina Rodriguez.
Dazzle me, Jeff.
It looks like Chuck E. Cheese.
Stream an all-new season of Hollywood House Lift with Jeff Lewis, now streaming on Freevee.
I am Conor McGregor, multiple weight MMA champion. I'm a fighter and I've been through many battles in the octagon. Many consider my fights in the octagon heroic, but the real life heroes are those men and women who fight to protect us every day. The real life fighters, the real life heroes, are the firefighters and police officers. These first responders are true heroes, because these brave men and women put themselves in the line of danger every single day protecting us all. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation ensures that first responders from fire, EMS and police departments who are killed in the line of duty with young children have a home without the burden of a mortgage. They are my heroes. They need our help today. I'd like to ask you to join me in donating $11 a month to support their efforts. Your $11 a month honours and supports our first responders. Please call now at 1-844-BRAVEST or visit tunneltotowers.org.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq, Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is, if getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. you'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
I almost forgot something. One moment, please. I forgot what day it was. All right, so here's the other part of the obligatory opening on Wednesdays.
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Otherwise known as Chat Lives Matter Day, right here live on KLRMradio.com. I am Rick Robinson. This is my show. We do this thing every Monday through Friday, except for now the first Monday of the month, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern. So we just started. For those of you trickling in on the X feed, thank you so much for checking us out. Hopefully you hang around. If you'd like, you can go over to klrradio.com/chat and hang out in the chat room and discuss there too. You are more than welcome either way. Also, if you're listening on Live 365, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. And also, whether you are on YouTube, Rumble, or Facebook Live as well, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. We are slowly working on trying to take over the world here at KLR Radio. We've been around for a while, but we are just really starting to push ourselves out more and more because, you know, it took me a while to figure all this stuff out, and it's time. Because we may just be about out of time to even try. But we're going to talk more about that in a minute. Anyway, welcome in. It's Wednesday, otherwise known as Chat Lives Matter Day. We also have a full lineup tonight. As far as I know, Stacey Lennox and I will be live at 7 p.m. Eastern doing the Whatever Show. That is a podcast for Gen X, about Gen X, and all the things that still piss us off. We usually do that weekly for about an hour from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern. Usually we have the Conservative Curmudgeon Radio Show at 8 p.m. Eastern. However, he is on hiatus. So Andrew and I will be doing an episode of From the Basement, his podcast, and we'll be hanging out together for about an hour tonight. Then we have Talk Murder to Me at 9 p.m. Eastern, one of our newest offerings here at KLRM Radio as part of our Chat Lives Matter night, and that is hosted by Bumpstock Barbie and Bumpstock Ken, with special guest Zelda Gabriel, who will be guest commentator for the evening and is also a contributor here at KLRM Radio. She just hasn't launched her show specifically yet, and also happens to be my significant other. I should probably throw that there. Anyway, and let's see, what else we got? I think that covers it for now. I mean, there's more because I'm constantly working, but don't really need to go into that this early in the program. Just wanted to kind of give you the rundown for the stuff this evening in case you guys would like to come back and check us out later too. Also, Ordnance Packard and I should be your closing act for the evening as far as I know. That'll be 10 p.m. Eastern on the Rick and Orty Show. Oh, and did I mention my name's Rick and I'm a workaholic and my last meeting was forever ago? Everybody looks at me like I'm crazy when they realize how many hours of this I do. But this would probably be the perfect time to tell you one of the ways that I managed to do that. That is thanks to a little group called Dubby, who makes this wonderful set of energy drink flavors and hydration flavors. So depending on what you're looking for, you can probably find pretty much anything there. They now even have canned energy drinks. For the cost, I kind of prefer the powder that you can mix yourself because it tends to last longer for me so far. Been using it now for a little bit. I have noticed that you can still kind of tell when it wears off, but you don't get the whole crash I haven't had jitters yet either. So for me, being an energy drink addict and a caffeine addict, I'm one of those people that tells everybody that I can always tell when there's too much blood in my caffeine stream, if that tells you anything. But you can go check them out at w.gg. If you see anything you like there, put in my promo code, RowdyRick, and you can get 10% off at checkout. They may or may not have some other specials going on too. I don't know if those stack, so for that you may want to reach out to them to see if you are eligible for more than one discount or not. Because I don't get those discounts anymore because I have a different one because I work with them now. So anyway, just in case you're wanting to maybe try to take over the world like me, maybe a good chance to do that. Also, for those of you that like what I do here, start bugging Death Wish Coffee. I drink them all the time, and I would like to make them a partner as well at some point. So maybe if we get their attention, we can make that happen. Anyway, yeah, if you missed it today, I put out a promo because this is my 20-hour day on KLRN Radio because of everything that we do in between the afternoon show, the evening shows, all the work that goes into all of those, the prep work, and then me writing for several different outlets, which usually Wednesdays is a one outlet only kind of day because it's just one of those days. But you can see some of my stuff coming out on Twitchy later today. First one will drop at 5 Eastern. The rest will come out in the overnights for you vampires. So I've already got 2 set, hoping to get at least 2 more, maybe 3, but one of them doesn't have much engagement yet, even though I'm trying. But anyway, so enough about what I do around these parts and what we're doing here and all those fun things. Let's get into the meat of the stories of the day, shall we? So let's kind of start here. So this is from our friends at Town Hall. And we're going to skip the monologue break, which is normally what I take right about now. But since I did a lot of pimp work for other stuff, we're going to consider that the break. So this is from Guy Benson, Town Hall. Hamas supporting anti-Semites are somehow getting even more brazen and vile. Having laid relatively low in recent weeks, America's pro-terrorism contingent is back with a vengeance, seemingly energized in opposition to Israel's successful hostage rescue mission over the weekend. Perhaps that timing is a coincidence, but I doubt it. The Hamas mob's political allies and apologists often insist that it's unfair to frame their words, chants, and actions as pro-Jew murder, or even as expressions of anti-Semitism. Well, let's check in on what just happened in New York City where Hamas supporters protested an exhibit dedicated to the victims of the Nova Music Festival, where terrorists from Gaza slaughtered hundreds of innocent people. Yes, they descended upon the location of an exhibit honoring victims of a mass murder to intimidate those who visited and celebrated the mass murder. For reference, I visited the site of that portion of the October 7 massacre and interviewed a survivor a few months ago. Hamas supporters in New York are proud of the slaughter inflicted by their heroes. Like Hamas, they want more of it. This is from the New York Post. Anti-Israel mob chanting, "Long live Infantada," lights fires outside New York City exhibit that memorializes October 7 Nova Music Festival victims. What the hell is happening in America? So we're going to stop there for a second. There's more here, but I just have to ask this question. When are we going to finally decide that we've had enough? We have an entire administration trying desperately to placate terrorists by negotiating with them. I thought we had a strict policy of not negotiating with terrorists. My other question is, and I ask this quite often, as soon as we knew that Americans had been kidnapped by these Gaza morons, why didn't we level the place? Now I know for those of you that are younger, you're like, but Rick, we can't do those things. There's international war crime laws, and there's this, and there's that. They broke those tenets first. Now, I'm going to tell you guys the same thing that I grew up being told by my father, my uncles, and anybody older than me, anytime they were concerned that I might get into a fight with someone. I better not ever, these were their exact words. I better not ever hear that you have started a damn fight ever. But if you ever find yourself in one, you better be the one that finishes it. And there comes a time, ladies and gentlemen, when you have to take the gloves off. I get it that we live in this society now where everything has to be fair and equitable, and everybody has to understand that, these people are, they just want the same things that we want. Rick, you just don't understand. They want everything that you and I already have, and they just want to be understood. No, they don't. This is your fallacy, not mine. That is not what they want. These people have a very different belief system than you and I, and it's time that we face that reality. I don't know how to make anybody else understand it than to make people understand it. It is very simply put, and this is for the Hamas, the Hamasniks, and everybody else that's affiliated with them. They have a very different idea of things than you and I do. We view America as a place of freedom, a potential place of prosperity if the government would get out of the way, and a place that everyone can come to assimilate, become part of the American culture, and live out their American dream. These people don't see it that way. They see us as a blockade to their ability to do everything that they want to do, whether it's totally to embrace communism, because that's what a lot of these Hamasnik supporters want to do, and they have to get to the anarchy point first so that they can come in, they can have their communist revolution, which, in case you guys haven't figured it out yet, that is exactly what's going on with the left right now. We're going to be getting into that later today too, because John Fetterman, of all people, has basically told everyone he's done with the progressive label, including Bill Maher. We may have some footage of that later. But just to show you guys exactly what I'm talking about, I'm going to get this pulled up on X so the folks on the stream can see it. So I'm just waiting for everything to start loading here, so bear with me for just a moment. And then those of you that are following along with audio, you'll be able to hear it too. You just obviously, of course, won't be able to see it. But I want you guys to hear some of this, because this is what's been happening all over the place. And for some reason, they're not really talking about it as much anymore. And I don't know if it's because it slowed down for a while, or if it's because everybody's been distracted with other things. I personally think it may be half dozen of one, six of the other, but what do I know? All right, so let me make sure this is working right, because yesterday I didn't check first and there was a blockage in the way. All right, so you guys actually should be seeing the screen now, for those of you that are following along with video access. And one moment, please. is America, folks. This isn't a foreign country. Sorry, for those of you following along with audio, you didn't get to hear very much. I thought there would have been more here. But that was actually a group of pro-Palestinian protesters coming in and trying to agitate a group of pro-Israel protesters who were outside of the exhibit celebrating the lives of the people that were killed on October 7th at the Israeli Music Festival. And I, for one, am quite sick of this. I know it's not a popular thing to say, and I know that I can't believe that you're coming down so pro-Israel. Well, first of all, I'm a Christian, which means I'm kind of required to be pro-Israel. I know you hear a lot of Christian folks not saying that these days because, the Jews are trying to take over the world, and the Jews are taking over the banking system, and Jews are doing this, and Jews are doing that. Sorry, I don't believe any of that. So if you do, more power to you. I'm not telling you what to think. I'm not telling you what to believe. I'm not even telling you who you should vote for or anything else. I'm just telling you things as I see them so you can hopefully make a better informed decision by the time we're done with the discussion. So one of the signs that you guys couldn't see was "Long Live October 7th." It was quite subtle. They're always very subtle. Like when they substitute Zionist for Jew and say things like this, whose meaning may never truly be known. So hang on. Let's let you guys hear this one. This is actually kind of what I thought was going to be playing a second ago. So hang on. I should have left the screen sharing open. It's easier to switch screens when it's already there. But anyway. All right. So yeah, it's not very long. We'll do it anyway. That way you guys get the whole experience here.
Why y'all killing people? You have nothing better to do. I wish Hitler was still here. Oh, how freaking knows? I wish Hitler was still here. He would have wiped all y'all out. I'm saying you was something worse. You're not working. I mean, you ain't working. He would have wiped all y'all out.
All right, so I want you guys to understand, for those of you that are following along on the audio feed, these are people of color yelling at Jewish people that, well, one of them specifically, but there's a group of them that are kind of agreeing with him, even though you can't really hear that very well. But he's literally screaming, "I wish Hitler were still here because he would have wiped every single one of you out already." Is this the America that we live in now? I thought we killed Nazism in this country. I mean, I hate to keep bringing up the obvious, but I legit thought that we killed the Nazi movement in this country. And I'm using the word I'm using very specifically because this is a movement that deserves to die in a fire. And it needs to do so post-haste and forthwith. Sorry, I'm using some New York City slang terms since we're talking about New York City. Blame Blue Bloods. I'm just saying. Anyway, but here we are. We now, and again, I am a free speech absolutist. I'm not saying that these people should not be able to say these things. I'm just surprised that they're saying them, because I was under the impression that, because we had embraced DEI and all of these other things, that we had fixed racism in this country. Why is the Spreaker feed not updating? That's weird. All right. Anyway, so I wonder. I just realized the website is not rolling over to the proper feed. So let me hang on for. Do we have anybody in the website right now? I don't think we do. I think we did, but I think they left. Oh, sorry, technical issues. All right, we're gonna keep rolling here though, because kind of can't really do anything about it now because we're live anyway. But since for some reason the website feed is not working, let me drop this in the chat room for anybody else that tries to pop in there, since I've been pimping it all day. Funny how that happens, huh? All right, so there's that. And then let me find one other way for them to check things out here. So for anybody that's trying to follow along, first thing I want to do is make sure that we don't have a disconnect somewhere else in the system. Sorry, hang out for a second. I promise we'll get back to the show in a second here. All right. All right, so yeah, apparently the show was there, and now the chat has reverted to a previous show. So I'm dropping the link in to the Spreaker feed, which is where we currently do most of our live broadcasting. We are transitioning to 365, which hopefully some people may be checking us out over there. But I don't really want to get that one up and running until I get all the automation sorted out, because once we turn that one on, I don't ever want to have to turn it off, at least completely. For right now, we're just kind of testing a few things out. Anyway, so back to the program, and I apologize for the interruption, but I am a one-man show over here. So, back to what we were talking about a second ago. I guess the scariest thing about this is the fact that these Hamas supporters seem to be pretty big Hitler fans. Now, for those of you that don't understand history, you shouldn't be surprised by this, because the Muslims and Hitler were joining forces back in the day, because the enemy of my enemy is my friend has been a common tenet of war for a very, very long time. So the Muslims don't like the Jews, and I've given you my opinion as to why that is, and it's actually backed up by facts if you go and look. The reason there are so many similarities between Judaism and Islam is because if you go back and you trace it, Islam, even though it doesn't really show up on the scene until hundreds of years later, is actually kind of based off of the hatred of the chosen Jewish people that a certain son of Abraham had. Because everybody seems to forget that Abraham and Isaac were basically the foundation for the chosen Israelites, but Abraham broke a promise to God and took another wife first and had another son. If you trace it back far enough, you'll find that the reason these things have a lot of similarities, but one is a lot darker than the other, is because it's based on teachings of a very angry son who was rebelling against his father. Which is why they hate the Jewish people so much, even though they kind of sort of come from the same stock, so to speak. It's interesting. But anyway, so this is just something that keeps going and going and going and going, and it's happening everywhere. And this is one of the things that I think we need to start discussing in America and try to figure out how the hell we're going to fix it. Because I'm sorry, if we keep being told that hate has no place in this country, why is this okay? I mean, if I have to be careful about leaving skid marks on a pride flag, why is this okay? This is the thing that I don't understand. One of these things is exactly like the other, but is being treated completely differently. And I don't really understand that. So as we get ready to take the first break, that's kind of what I want to leave you guys with to think about for the moment, is what do we do to fix this? Because if we're not even willing to talk about what's broken, how do we ever fix it? And that's why I kind of feel like this bumper is kind of relevant, because I really just kind of... Anyway. You'll understand in a second. You're listening to The Rick Robinson Show. We are live on KLRMradio.com. Again, we do this thing every Monday through Friday, except for the first Monday of the month, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern, and I'll be back later tonight hanging out with Stacey Lennox, pushing buttons for some other folks in the middle, and then coming back with your closing act, The Rick and Orty Show, live on Chat Lives Matter Night on KLRM Radio. This is Chat Lives Matter Afternoon, and I am the host of the afternoon show, The Rick Robinson Show, live right here on KLRMradio.com. Hashtag Chat Lives Matter and hashtag Team No Pants. Just saying. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign. KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis. And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, Pop-Up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, I drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you.
Hi, everyone. This is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the #1 way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening.
Celebrity designer Jeff Lewis is back with Hollywood House Lift.
I'm excited to be working with new clients.
I'm not getting rid of that.
I hope I never see you both again.
An all-new season.
Those have to go. That has to go.
From oh, wow,
It's been an actual nightmare.
to oh, wow.
This is such an upgrade.
With celebrities like Josh Duhamel, Christina Ricci, and Gina Rodriguez.
Dazzle me, Jeff.
It looks like Chuck E. Cheese.
Stream an all-new season of Hollywood House Lift with Jeff Lewis, now streaming on Freevee.
I am Conor McGregor, multiple weight MMA champion. I'm a fighter and I've been through many battles in the octagon. Many consider my fights in the octagon heroic, but the real life heroes are those men and women who fight to protect us every day. The real life fighters, the real life heroes, are the firefighters and police officers. These first responders are true heroes because these brave men and women put themselves in the line of danger every single day protecting us all. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation ensures that first responders from fire, EMS and police departments who are killed in the line of duty with young children have a home without the burden of a mortgage. They are my heroes. They need our help today. I'd like to ask you to join me in donating $11 a month to support their efforts. Your $11 a month honours and supports our first responders. Please call now at 1-844-BRAVEST or visit tunneltotowers.org.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Coming back from break with one of the most underrated guitar solos of all time from Pink Floyd's Brick in the Wall. I said what I said. Anyway, so we're back. We're live. Hope everybody's having a great Wednesday. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We're about halfway through hour one of the 2-hour Rick Robinson show. However, we're going to change gears for a second to get into some, well, sort of entertainment-related news, but still kind of politically related too. Because you have to ask yourself this question. Why is it that with a franchise as potentially... Well, hang on. I didn't realize that was still playing, because normally it shows up for me when it's... Anyway, I forgot to... let me fix that. All right, I think it's finally done. All right. Okay, so technical issues abound today. What can I say? But so with the abundance of streaming services and everybody trying to vie for attention right now, you would think Disney would be doing a better job with a potentially bankable franchise like Star Wars, but they've kind of screwed it up from the finally giving us episodes 7, 8, and 9 that everybody just wishes they could forget and actually makes the prequels decent, to now this. So, yeah, if you haven't... I should probably warn you, spoilers. But if you haven't checked out The Acolyte yet, just don't. Just don't. I watched the first 2 episodes. I really tried. I have watched almost everything Star Wars has ever put out, including the Ewok Christmas special. And I kind of feel like we're perpetually stuck in a time loop where we get the Ewok Christmas special over and over and over again. Even the things that started out really, really well, like The Mandalorian, have just kind of just, eh. Now, some of it could have been COVID related, but I also think it has a lot to do with just Disney deciding that they're going to thumb their nose at 90% of the people. Actually, I'm sorry, 99.7% of the people that actually pay for their stuff and give them the lifestyle to which they've become accustomed. But in case you're wondering, The Acolyte is basically now lesbian witches in space. I really wish I was kidding. This is by Brandon Morris on Red State, so I'm going to give you a little bit of his take on it too. I didn't need to tell you that Star Wars is on the decline. I've been writing about it for years now. However, it's reached what I can only hope is rock bottom, though I'm not trusting to hope. Please let this be rock bottom, Disney, you're our only hope. Oh, wait, sorry. In the third and most recent episode of The Acolyte, which I will be completely honest, I have not bothered to watch yet, because as soon as everybody started screaming and yelling, I was like, this may actually kill my love of Star Wars, and I just can't let that happen. The latest Star Wars outing that Kathleen Kennedy, make it more gay, Kathleen Kennedy, make it more gay, is limping to the barn with, you're introduced to a coven of lesbian space witches. I'm not going to get into who they are or what they're called. I don't care enough, and neither do you at this point. It's a dumb franchise with dumb people at the helm. But let's just show you how everything that becomes infected with the woke mind virus turns to absolute dung. Let's see what this coven of lesbian space witches are up to. In this scene, they're conducting a ritual to immaculately conceive twins with a song and some fun little hand gestures. So this is from Nerdrotic, and for those of you that are following along on the stream, you'll see it in a second. So feel free to turn away for about 30 seconds or so if you don't want spoilers. But why would you bother to care now? Because what have they done to Star Wars? I have a take on this a little bit when we get done with this too, because I have a take as to why it's been as bad as it's been, that some of you may not have heard before, since we do have a lot of folks joining us from other platforms now that we are branching out some. But here's the full stream version of this, and I apologize for all of you who I'm about to kill Star Wars for permanently, probably including myself, but here we go.
Power of one, the power of two, the power of many. The power of one, the power of two, the power of many.
Okay, so what in the absolute hell was that? And again, remember, I haven't even seen this yet, so this is a live reaction to this, and this is one reason why, since I knew I was going to be talking about this today, I refused to watch the episode, because once I saw everybody start talking about it, I just wanted to find a clip about it and live react with it with you guys, because what the actual hell is this? As somebody that has grown up absolutely loving Star Wars, and loving every moment of episodes 4, 5, and 6. Except, and even at my age, I didn't necessarily even mind the cute, cuddly teddy bears at first, because I was still a kid and thought they were kind of cool. Now, I saw how stupid they were as I got older, and, there were lots of things about episode 6 that I could have taken or left. A lot of things that I thought they got better with the prequels, like showing, the Jedi actually knowing how to fight and being able to use a lightsaber without it just looking like a hack and slash session. So that part of the prequels I enjoyed. And honestly, thanks to 7, 8, and 9, the prequels don't suck so hard anymore. Jar Jar Binks still needs to die in a fire, but the prequels don't suck so much anymore. Thank you, Nerdrotic, for killing my love of Star Wars. Just kidding. Well, maybe not completely kidding. But here we go. So, but I have a take on this as we round out this segment of the show. And this is a take that Ordnance Packard and I both share, and you've probably heard him and Brad talk about on the Culture Shift, which is on every other Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern here on KLRNradio.com. But the running theory with us regarding Star Wars is that George Lucas had absolutely nothing to do with its inception. That he actually was discussing with someone who had written the script, who was wanting help to try to get everything off and running, and George Lucas may or may not have murdered this person and stole the script along with the nearly finished episode 5 and absolutely nothing done with episode 6, which is why it started taking a weird turn. So if you wonder why Star Wars has sucked as much as it has, it's probably because the idea came from somewhere else and Lucas ran with it. Now, whether he stole the idea, there is actually a conspiracy theory that he murdered someone over it. I can't say whether he did or he didn't, but Disney taking it and doing what they've done with it, along with what they're currently doing to Doctor Who, just makes this old sci-fi nerd really, really sad. Because they had the opportunity to do so many wonderful things with such a great franchise, and they killed it. I mean, let's rewind for a second, all the way back to episode 7, those few years ago, where we finally were told we were going to get the continuation of the story of what happened with Luke, Leia and Han after the conclusion of episode 6, and it turned into a rehash of everything that happened between episode 3 and episode 4. The only difference is there was a female heroine now who was still tied to the Skywalker family and possibly the Skywalker bloodline somehow, but she was on a desert planet in a similar outfit, and the big bad was someone in a black helmet with an up-jumped Death Star. Why do we keep having to recycle old plots? I have another theory there too. I think AI took over a long time ago as far as writing, and nobody wants to admit it. This is why there's so many things now where, like, let your AI do your art so you can do this. Let your AI do your social media work so you can do this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the exact opposite of what AI was intended for. AI and robotics were intended to do the tasks that we didn't want to do so that we could do the tasks that we enjoy to do. I don't need an AI that does my social media work for me. I don't need an AI that writes my podcast for me. I need an AI that does my laundry and my dishes. That's what I need. Let's just be real. This is what we need. This is what we were promised since the Jetsons. They had robots that did a lot of their daily tasks. Now, I get it, with everybody being all in their feelings and touchy-feely these days. Well, the robots would have rights too, Rick. Well, maybe they would. I don't know. I don't know. I just know that this is not what I was told my adult life was going to be like. By now, I was only supposed to have to work 4 hours a day, pushing a button repetitively, working for an a-hole who screamed at me all the time, even though I tried to do everything that he asked me to do. And I got to fly home in my flying car, living in my skyward apartment with my kids learning freaking calculus in kindergarten, and my meals served to me in a rehydrator. This is what I was told life in the 2020s was supposed to be like. And we're not there. But you also have to ask yourself why we're not there. Because with where we were in the 60s versus where we are today, there has been a stark drop-off in technology. And nobody seems to want to talk about that. And I don't really understand why. Because we have all of these things now that are supposed to be making our life so much better and so much easier. And yet, here we sit, listening to the same stuff, watching the same stuff. Oh, all right. So apparently there was just a vote recently. Senate Republicans have blocked a bill that would protect access to birth control. I don't really understand that. Honestly, I would need to look at it to see what the breakdown of the bill was to understand why they might have voted against it if it actually is just a straight-up birth control vote. Anyway. I guess that would be a good point. Because, access to birth control isn't even necessarily an issue, so that's probably why they're voting against it, or at least it shouldn't be. Because nobody's trying to take that away. But so anyway, so yeah, Star Wars is dying. Star Wars is largely dying because Kathleen Kennedy sucks. But hey, what do I know? All right, so let's see what else we want to talk about in the last few minutes of hour one. Because, why not? Oh, we may get back around to that. Hour two, we do have some stuff to get to that's still on the actual ticker list, and that is, Fetterman basically telling people that he's done with the progressive label. Then a weird thing happened because the White House celebrated Juneteenth on the 10th of June instead of the 19th of June. And Biden looked like he was really confused and looked like the oldest white guy ever to try to hang out with a bunch of black people. It's kind of weird. Let's see if I can find that too. I guess we probably do need to talk about this. I know everybody else has talked about it already, but I kind of feel like we need to talk about it here too. So remember how they kept telling us how secure the border is and how we have nothing to worry about because, Mayorkas is a good guy and he knows what he's doing and yada, 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 blah, 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 ad infinitum. Conservatives are just fear-mongering, yada, yada, yada. So ICE arrested eight suspected terrorists that were released by the Biden administration recently. Dun, dun, dun. It turns out that the Biden administration has released potential terrorists with explosive aspirations into America's interior. Are we surprised? Not so much. Worried? Maybe a little bit. On June 11th, Fox News correspondent Bill Malugin tweeted that a federal source confirmed ICE, working with the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force, recently arrested 8 Tajikistan nationals. Am I the only one who didn't know there was a country called Tajikistan? Just saying. Who entered America illegally and had suspected ISIS ties. The Tajikistanis were spread across the country in New York City, Philadelphia, and Los Angeles. The best or worst part, they were previously vetted by the Biden administration's border security and released into our country. Just how many potential terrorists are being welcomed into America and given taxpayer-funded freebies by our own government? The world may never know. Malugin added, I'm told all 8 crossed the southern border illegally, received full vetting, and had no initial derogatory information that flagged them. Well, that's reassuring. Maybe the Biden administration needs a better vetting process. Of course, with the massive flood of illegals rushing here thanks to Biden's catastrophic border policies, no doubt vetting isn't what it should be. In fact, vetting for Chinese illegal aliens was specifically reduced under Biden. Perhaps it was reduced for other nationalities too. I'm told derogatory info, potential national security concerns, flagged later on that apparently after release into the U.S., Malugin went on, source was unable to say when and where they crossed illegally into the U.S. All are now, thankfully, in ICE custody, pending removal proceedings and an active federal investigation. Apparently, the New York Post first reported this disturbing news and the allegations that at least one of the arrested Tajikistanis was discussing bombs when caught on an FBI wiretap. The FBI and Department of Homeland Security gave Fox News the following comment, which of course did not acknowledge the serious nature and the serious national security threat created by the Biden administration's failed border policies. Over the last few days, ICE agents arrested several non-citizens pursuant to immigration authorities. The actions were carried out in close coordination with the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force. The individuals arrested are detained and in ICE custody pending removal proceedings. As the FBI and DHS have recently described in public and partner bulletins, the U.S. has been in a heightened threat environment. The FBI and DHS will continue working around the clock with our partners to identify and investigate and disrupt potential threats to national security. I don't know about you, but I'm not feeling exceptionally sanguine about the Biden, FBI, and DHS's ability to keep us safe. Yes, they caught these potential terrorists, but only after DHS totally missed the danger during its first vetting. And how many other terrorists crossed into the U.S. illegally and were likewise not flagged at the border? Meanwhile, Biden is fixing the border crisis with an executive order that would allow in one new illegal alien for every 2 U.S. births. Anyone want to guess how many foreign agents, potential terrorists, and criminals will be getting into America through the utterly disastrous border plan that has now been signed by executive order by President Joe Biden? I'm going to say probably a lot. There's probably a lot. So many stories, so little time, but we are coming up to the top of the hour, so we're going to get ready to take that break. Hope everybody's enjoying the show. For those of you checking us out on X, you should be free to get into the chat now if you would like. It looks like the feed is back up and running there. I think we were having a technical issue. Or you're welcome to continue to hang out at X. For those of you listening on Live 365, thank you so much for taking the time to do so. Again, I'm Rick Robinson, and I would like to thank everybody. As we do get ready to take a break, I would like to talk to you about something real quick. And for some of you, this may seem like a bit of an embarrassing topic, but living in the country, this is something that we have to deal with here quite often, and that's pests and insects. So I would like to talk to you about my new friends, Testudo Pest Control. Now, if you live in the Oklahoma City metro area or the surrounding areas, and you are having any type of a pest problem, whether it's rodents, insects of any kind, raccoons, whatever the case may be, feel free to check those folks out. You can find them through Google. I don't have their number or anything pulled up right now. I planned on doing this a little bit differently later, but we are working on getting some live reads put together. So again, they're Testudo Pest Control. They've recently done some work for me. They have been absolutely amazing. I have a very busy work schedule and a lot of things have come up and I've had to reschedule on them multiple times, but they've been working with us now for over a month to take care of all kinds of problems and doing all kinds of spraying. I'm going to be completely honest. I let some things get away from me while I was going through a rather shocking, depressing, and unexpected divorce 4 years ago. And I've kind of let some things go. So getting the property back under control has taken about a little over a year now that I've seriously started trying to do it again. And this was one of the last hurdles that I needed to get through. But they have been absolutely amazing. And they also do have a contract you can sign for recurring pest control as well. So if you live in an area where maybe you live out in the country like me, nobody really thinks about how often the city sprays for pests until you don't really have the city spraying for pests anymore. So especially if you live somewhere where they don't take care of it for you, check out my good friends at Testudo Pest Control. Again, you can look them up on Google and all their information is readily available. They are currently only servicing the Oklahoma City metro and surrounding areas, though, and as we are starting to try to kick the door in the home market, so to speak, because we've gotten a lot of love everywhere else but at home. We're going to start trying to change that. We're going to be starting to try to change that. Anyway, so we're going to take a quick break. Again, hope everybody's having a great Wednesday. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this afternoon live on KLRradio.com. You can also listen to us later. If you don't have time to check out the whole show, you can pretty much find us anywhere you can find podcasts. The entire show is available through places like, Good Pods, which is a spot you guys hear quite often here, iHeartRadio, Spotify, pretty much everywhere you can find podcasts. But we are going to take our bottom of the hour break as we get ready to come back around for the top of the hour. Again, I'm Rick Robinson. This is my show. We do this thing every Monday through Friday, except for the first Monday of the month, 3 p.m., 5 p.m. Eastern. And we'll see you guys on the other side of the break. If you are working, you got a little bit left if you do the whole 9 to 5 thing, so just hang tight. Take a second, get up, stretch your legs, maybe grab a drink, smoke a little bit of what helps you think, unless you are working. Then again, even if you are, I don't judge. So we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Standing on the edge of the end of time. Am I the only one? Tell me I'm not. Who thinks of taking all the good we got and turning it bad? Hell, I'll be damned. I think I'm turning into my old man. Am I the only one?
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign. KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis. And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, Pop-Up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, and drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you.
Hi, everyone. This is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the #1 way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening.
Celebrity designer Jeff Lewis is back with Hollywood House Lift.
I'm excited to be working with new clients.
I'm not getting rid of that.
I hope I never see you both again.
An all-new season.
Those have to go. That has to go.
From oh, wow,
It's been an actual nightmare.
to oh, wow.
This is such an upgrade.
With celebrities like Josh Duhamel, Christina Ricci, and Gina Rodriguez.
Dazzle me, Jeff.
It looks like Chuck E. Cheese.
Stream an all-new season of Hollywood House Lift with Jeff Lewis, now streaming on Freevee.
I am Conor McGregor, multiple weight MMA champion. I'm a fighter and I've been through many battles in the octagon. Many consider my fights in the octagon heroic, but the real life heroes are those men and women who fight to protect us every day. The real life fighters, the real life heroes, are the firefighters and police officers. These first responders are true heroes because these brave men and women put themselves in the line of danger every single day protecting us all. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation ensures that first responders from fire, EMS and police departments who are killed in the line of duty with young children have a home without the burden of a mortgage. They are my heroes. They need our help today. I'd like to ask you to join me in donating $11 a month to support their efforts. Your $11 a month honours and supports our first responders. Please call now at 1-844-BRAVEST or visit tunneltotowers.org.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq, Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is, if getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Down there's a gold dirt road to a whole lot of nothing. Got a deed to the land, but it ain't my ground. This is God's country. We pray for rain and thank Him when it's falling, 'cause it brings a grain and a little bit of money. We put it back in the plate. I guess that's why they call it God's country. I saw the light in a sunrise, sitting back in a 40 on the muddy riverside, getting baptized in holy.
Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody?
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Otherwise known as Chat Lives Matter Day, right here live on KLRradio.com. I'm Rick Robinson. This is my show. We do this thing every Monday through Friday, except for the first Monday of the month, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern. Got a lot of folks checking this out on X today. Hopefully you guys stick around. Thank you so much for hanging out, even if it's just for a few minutes. And if you don't stick around, I kind of sort of understand why. I'm just saying. All right, anyway, so we're back. We're live. Hope everybody's having a great Wednesday. Don't forget, we got full lineup tonight, so if you are digging what we're doing today, make sure you come back and check us out later, because we got a lot of other hosts that do even better work than I do. Just saying. All right, so we're here, we're live, and we're going to keep things rolling. So I don't know about you guys, but I just saw this last night. Apparently there has been some footage leaked of Nancy Pelosi during January 6th, which kind of puts so in between what we now know happened with Liz Cheney and the J6 committee and the witness that they kept putting off, who was willing to refute the media's narrative about Donald Trump supposedly trying to commandeer the vehicle he was in during J6. This came out too, and I'm just saying this kind of for me this changes everything. So give me a second while we get it queued up here, because I had to make sure I knew which one I was going to be doing here. This is from the Oversight Subcommittee's account on X, by the way, and we'll get it full screen here. Doesn't run for that long, so just hang out for a second. But I want you guys to hear this, and then we're going to discuss.
We have responsibility, Terry. We did not have any accountability for what was going on there, and we should have. This is ridiculous. You're going to ask me in the middle of the thing when they've already breached the inaugural stuff that should we call the Capitol Police? I mean, the National Guard? Why weren't the National Guard there to begin with?
They thought that they had sufficient resources.
That is not a question of how they have. They don't know. They clearly didn't know, and I take responsibility for not having them just prepare for more. We have responsibility.
I'm sorry. So what did she just say? Because I'm pretty sure this pretty well lines out with everything Trump's been saying, is that he tried to make troops available and they said no. And in this clip, she's like, we have responsibility. I have to take responsibility for this. So where is she publicly taking responsibility for allowing the riot? I'm not going to say insurrection because it wasn't an insurrection. No boomsticks, no insurrection. There may have been a couple of people with weapons there. There were people with some pepper spray. They turned flagpoles into makeshift weapons, etc. And I understand that, but that is not an insurrection. No boomsticks, no insurrection. Did bad things happen? Yes. Did people get angry and do stupid things? Yes. But what did you expect to have happen? When we all watched in November things that have never happened in one of our election cycles before happening, and then we were told to ignore our eyes and our ears, just like we were told to do with COVID. You just do what the scientists tell you to do, surf, and mind your own business. That's the same thing that happened in the 2020 election cycle. You just believe the results that we put in front of you, you surf, and you be happy that we're not coming after you. I'm sorry, that doesn't work for me. That will never work for me. That's actually part of the reason why I do what I do, because we live in a country right now that is falling apart, that is coming apart at the seams, and I'm really starting to think there may be no way to save it. And I don't say that lightly, because the face of America has been changed forever with the recent verdict with Donald Trump, because for all the media trying to make the comparisons between the Trump verdict and the Hunter Biden verdict, the issue that I have with Hunter Biden's case is it was pretty cut and dry. He lied on a form. That his own father increased the charges for lying on the form. Unlike former President Donald Trump, who had, 40 some odd misdemeanors up jumped into felonies tied to a still, as far as we know, unknown felony charge that allowed those to be up jumped and dovetailed into felonies themselves, which last I heard, whatever felony they're trying to use is a federal felony, which therefore means a state prosecutor shouldn't even be trying to prosecute it in the first place, and all of the federal prosecutors said no. So let's not compare the two. Also, we need to take a really quick look at the media's reaction to Donald Trump's verdict versus the Hunter Biden verdict, because every single member of the media on the left, as soon as the Trump verdict came out, was having a field day. They were taking victory laps. They were screaming. They were yelling. They were hooping. They were hollering. The folks on The View were just giddy. Everybody was like, we got him, we got him, we got him. And then they realized it didn't really make much of a difference, because the American people are seeing them now for what they are. And this is what has them so afraid. But this is also why things like this are finally starting to be leaked out, because whoever put this information out knows that the winds are changing. We need to be very careful, though, because I don't trust any of these people any further than we can throw them. I don't even trust Donald Trump. I think right now he's the best option for this country, considering we can see his past track record versus what we've had in the last 3.5 years, and I still think he's the best option for the country. And we're going to be getting into a couple of people who don't seem to think that, and this will kind of dovetail into an article of mine that comes out later tonight. I think it's the first one that drops. It's either the first one or the second. I should probably double check that, though. Hang on a second. Oh yeah, first one, which will come out right as this show ends. So yeah, we're gonna be getting into some of that audio in a second. So I'm not gonna try to. I don't know. I kind of hesitate sometimes to do that, because then I'm like, but since I'm gonna be talking about it, what if they don't go read the story? And then I realized that most of the stories I write are to showcase the things the other people are saying and not necessarily what I'm saying. So I don't think it'll make that much of a difference. But we are going to get into that. We are going to take the monologue break this hour because I didn't do that last hour and it kind of threw me off a little bit. So we're going to take the monologue break real quick, come back, get things reset. I'm going to find the Fetterman footage that I've been looking for forever that I found and now I can't find. And we also have, like I said, the Stetler stuff that we're going to be coming back with as well. So you are listening to The Rick Robinson Show live right here on KLRradio.com. This concludes our monologue break for hour 2, our monologue segment for hour 2, going into the monologue break now. So we'll be back in just a second. Sorry. I'm over-explaining breaks because apparently Joe Pags has been being given some crap online because he over-explains breaks. So I'm just trying to annoy people too, just in case. Because it's what I do. All right. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign. KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
I am Conor McGregor, multiple weight MMA champion. I'm a fighter and I've been through many battles in the octagon. Many consider my fights in the octagon heroic, but the real life heroes are those men and women who fight to protect us every day. The real life fighters, the real life heroes are the firefighters and police officers. These first responders are true heroes because these brave men and women put themselves in the line of danger every single day protecting us all. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation ensures that first responders from fire, EMS and police departments who are killed in the line of duty with young children have a home without the burden of a mortgage. They are my heroes. They need our help today. I'd like to ask you to join me in donating $11 a month to support their efforts. Your $11 a month honours and supports our first responders. Please call now at 1-844-BRAVEST or visit tunneltotowers.org.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis. And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop-up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, I drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you, see you, see you.
Hi, everyone. This is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the #1 way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening.
Celebrity designer Jeff Lewis is back with Hollywood House Lift.
I'm excited to be working with new clients.
I'm not getting rid of that.
I hope I never see you both again.
An all-new season.
Those have to go. That has to go.
From oh, wow,
It's been an actual nightmare.
to oh, wow.
This is such an upgrade.
With celebrities like Josh Duhamel, Christina Ricci, and Gina Rodriguez.
Dazzle me, Jeff.
It looks like Chuck E. Cheese.
Stream an all-new season of Hollywood House Lift with Jeff Lewis, now streaming on Freevee.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome back into the program, ladies and gentlemen. As promised, we have part of a recent interview done by Bill Maher with John Fetterman, who I have to say has actually surprised me quite a bit lately. I'm just saying, it's kind of it actually really has been pretty surprising, because I don't know if maybe they just didn't realize, who he was or what he stood for when they decided to put him on the ticket, or if he was just maybe confusing them somehow. But I will say that while I don't agree with everything that he says, he's starting to remind me more and more of a classic liberal, not a woke liberal or a progressive. And apparently he explains to Bill Maher, which we're about to hear from Town Hall, why he's leaving that label behind.
I think there's a big difference between an old school liberal and a woke person. You say progressive Democrat. How do you describe this?
Yeah, no, I agree. It's like I've just say, and I've been saying that for years, actually. I said that, I didn't leave the label. It left me.
All right, so there you have, during an interview given on Bill Maher, John Fetterman saying that he didn't leave the label left me. Speaking about the progressive label. And that is, I think, one of the smartest things I've ever heard that man say. I don't say that lightly either. Because John Fetterman has been very surprising to me. Now, I'm not saying that we might not have done a little bit better with Dr. Oz being elected there, but I will say that I am a lot less disappointed. Now, we have the rest of the audio and video here, so I'll get this part queued up for those of you that actually want to follow along video-wise as well. The first cut was kind of short, so I found a longer version, so hang on just a second. Is, and here is a longer cut of the interview clip that you just heard a moment ago. This is courtesy of Max on Bill Maher's Twitter account, or X account.
I heard you once say, or read it, maybe it was a tweet, I don't know what it was. You said, I'm not a progressive, I'm a Democrat. What does that mean? How do you, what is that distinction? Because I don't think I've used the word progressive. I think I've said woke. I think there's a big difference between woke, and I know that word triggers a lot of people because it had a great beginning as a meaning, but words migrate, and it went to something else. I think there's a big difference between an old school liberal and a woke person. You say progressive Democrat. How do you describe this?
Yeah, no, I agree. It's like I've just say, and I've been saying that for years, actually. I said that, I didn't leave the label. It left me on that.
Right.
And that really, after it happened on October 7th, I was really knew that that whole progressive stack would be blasted apart, and there's not going to be any kind of way how the Democrats are going to be able to reply to that kind of, or respond to that kind of. And I really decided early on that I believed that was going to be the right side with Israel throughout all of that. And I knew that would going to be Democrats would continue to peel away and kind of walk away from standing with Israel on that. But that's where I decided after.
How do you explain that, if you can, that the people who consider themselves the most liberal have abandoned Israel, which was always a liberal darling, for the people who, a terrorist organization, the people who outwardly say they want a genocide, who outwardly are the one side of this who is against the two-state solution. Somehow they wound up with them. Why do you think that is? And will this split the Democratic Party?
Well, it does because there's an appeal there, and I think you talk about that. Like last week, you really hit with the gender apartheid.
Yes.
And talking about a lot of these issues, and some of the most progressive and left parts of the Democratic Party are standing, for the kind of side that have. Kinds of organizations like Hamas or these kind of nations that there are no rights for women, and they certainly don't embrace the LGBTQ kinds of lifestyle. And then even in Philadelphia, the Queers for Palestine blocked the Pride parade in Philadelphia, and I never saw that on the bingo card.
Okay, well, that was loud. I didn't know they were going to do that little outro at the end, but there you go. So, Fetterman actually addressing some of the very same things that we've been addressing on this show, like the Hamasniks, blocking the Pride Parade. These people are not going to cohabitate. If you are, and look, I'm not judging anyone. I have long said, and I know people that feel the same way, being attracted to the same sex is not a sin. Acting on those things can be considered a sin if you're a Christian, because that's not how things are supposed to be. And I don't say that lightly. I try not to be judgy, but it's just the truth of it, and it's just where we are. But I need you guys to understand exactly why I'm saying what I'm saying, because when you've lost John Fetterman, then there's probably more here going on than anybody wants to admit. Now, I don't agree with the polls. I think everybody needs to just take a beat, because everybody's like, look, even after his conviction, everybody says they're going to vote for him. They're doing this to you on purpose. They want you to stay home. They want you to feel like your vote isn't going to matter. They want you to feel like your vote's not going to make a difference, so you don't need to vote for him because everybody else is going to do it. Look, I'm only going to say this once. If you don't want Joe Biden, then you need to go vote. If you do want Joe Biden, then you need to go vote. But especially if you don't want Joe Biden, everyone needs to vote, even in a safe state, because we need to send these woke, mindless minions a loud and clear voice. And the only way to do that is not only if we overwhelmingly win the Electoral College, but also win the popular vote, because that's where they keep getting us. Well, he didn't actually win because he didn't win the popular vote. This is because most people don't understand how a republic actually is supposed to work. And it seems like it's by design anymore. And I've been saying this for a long time. And I'm going to say it again because it looks like we may have people tuning in for the first time again today. The 16th and the 17th Amendments were the beginning of the destruction of our founders' vision for this country. Let me explain, then we'll go to break. The 16th Amendment ratified through constitutional amendment taxation. Up until now, federally or through the general government until the Civil War, the only way that the government could get funding for projects was by telling the American public what it was they wanted to do and offer bonds. This was the most, I guess, Republican way that you could fundraise for anything, because if you liked what they were trying to do, you could give them your money. If you didn't, you didn't have to. And if you didn't make enough money to get it done, then they had to go back and try again. The Democrats managed to get a progressive income tax passed for a short time during the Civil War, so they kept going back to the Republicans at that time and kept saying, once it lapsed, and said, hey, we need this back, we need this back, we need this back. So the Republicans had this wonderful idea of, we'll put it to a vote of the people and use the amendment process. And at the time, nobody really cared, because it was 1% of your income for the extremely wealthy in the country. So everybody's like, yeah, sure, it's not going to affect me. Now look where we are. So that was problem number one, because that was the framework for us to become the batteries for the very beast that we are now trying to fight on a daily basis, especially here in places like KLR Radio and other places that are trying to bring you the truth about what it is that our government is trying to do. If you like what we do here, tell your friends, because we need as many listeners as possible. The more people that listen, the more income that we have, and that's the easiest way for you to support us, believe it or not. We have ad revenue tied in almost everywhere, so if you're listening at all, we will get something from it. So if you like what we're doing here, tell your friends. If you don't like us, especially tell your friends. Hate clicks are the best clicks. I'm just saying. But so then that leads us to the 17th Amendment, which is where they decided that instead of the states having the ability to appoint their senators, as the founding fathers intended, because they wanted the populace and the states to have a voice in our bicameral legislative body at the federal level, they decided that they were going to put an amendment forth to make the senators elected by state popular vote. These two things forever and indisputably changed the face of our republic and started marching us towards a democracy. This is why you hear the Democrats talk so much about how they're fighting so hard to save democracy, because most everybody doesn't have a civics background anymore. A lot of folks don't even teach civics anymore. And for the 20s to 30s crowd, you may have gotten civics up until about 3rd or 4th grade at a low level, where they were trying to teach you the closest equivalent to a republic there is, which is a democracy. Because when they start teaching you that in elementary school, that's how they make you understand it. We're not actually a democracy. They may have sold it to you as a representative democracy. What we actually are, though, is a representative republic, because we have the ability to vote, but we really only have the ability to vote to determine who is going to be our voice within the government. And those two amendments made us their slaves. There's no other way to put it. It's not a nice thing to say. Everybody hates it when I say it. People turn off the show when I say it. But I'm never going to stop explaining it to you, because the 16th and the 17th Amendments took those people who worked for us and made everything the other way around, because now we are the batteries to the very machine that we are trying to fight, and we are also the people that keep sending the same people to D.C. to do the same things over and over again, even though over the last 100 years they have made us the batteries for the very machine that we are trying to fight. And on that note, I'm going to take a break, because we're at the bottom of the hour. Final segment coming at you on the other side. Again, thank you so much for those of you who are tuning in, possibly checking us out here for the first time. I know some of you are like, dude, you take a lot of breaks. That's because for now, one, it's patterned after AM radio, because I do plan on trying to syndicate this show now that I'm getting some things lined out. So that's part of the reason why the breaks are there. Two, it's also because right now I'm the host, the producer, the researcher, all of the above. So I need the breaks to keep things running at least as smoothly as I can possibly make them, now that I'm pushing buttons in about 6 different places to make all this happen. But we are going to take what I hope will be the last break of the show, and we're going to finish things up. Still got the Stetler clip. Potato is back on CNN as a guest contributor from time to time, which I find really, really weird since they fired him. But I guess maybe they're trying to mend fences. Who knows? All right, you are listening to The Rick Robinson Show, live right here on KLRradio.com. We will be back for one final segment of the Chat Lives Matter Day edition of my show here on KLRradio.com. Stay tuned.
I wish it was you. I guess we never really moved on. It's really good to hear your voice saying my name. It sounds so sweet. Coming from the lips of an angel. Hearing those words, it makes me weak. Letters I never want to say goodbye.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign. KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
I am Conor McGregor, multiple weight MMA champion. I'm a fighter and I've been through many battles in the octagon. Many consider my fights in the octagon heroic, but the real life heroes are those men and women who fight to protect us every day. The real life fighters, the real life heroes are the firefighters and police officers. These first responders are true heroes because these brave men and women put themselves in the line of danger every single day protecting us all. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation ensures that first responders from fire, EMS and police departments who are killed in the line of duty with young children have a home without the burden of a mortgage. They are my heroes. They need our help today. I'd like to ask you to join me in donating $11 a month to support their efforts. Your $11 a month honours and supports our first responders. Please call now at 1-844-BRAVEST or visit tunneltotowers.org.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis. And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop-up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, I drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you. See you, see you.
Hi, everyone. This is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the #1 way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening.
Celebrity designer Jeff Lewis is back with Hollywood House Lift.
I'm excited to be working with new clients.
I'm not getting rid of that.
I hope I never see you both again.
An all-new season.
Those have to go. That has to go.
From oh, wow,
It's been an actual nightmare.
to oh, wow.
This is such an upgrade.
With celebrities like Josh Duhamel, Christina Ricci, and Gina Rodriguez.
Dazzle me, Jeff.
It looks like Chuck E. Cheese.
Stream an all-new season of Hollywood House Lift with Jeff Lewis, now streaming on Freevee.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
right, welcome back into the final segment of the Rick Robinson Show on this Wednesday edition, otherwise known as Chat Lives Matter Day, right here live on KLRM Radio. If you're working for the weekend, then you've made it about halfway through your work week. If you are on the East Coast, you got a little less than 20 minutes. If you're in God's time zone, you got a little less than an hour and 20 minutes. If you're on the West Coast, you got forever. Why the hell haven't you moved? And if you live in the Mountain Time Zone, nobody really cares. Anyway, so we're back. We're live. And no, I'm not trying to actually hate on anybody in Mountain. Mickey Blowtorch, one of our hosts, lives there, and he complains all the time that nobody seems to care that Mountain Time Zone actually exists. So I'm just reaffirming his opinion. All right, so we're here. We're live, and we do have more to get through. Kind of going to be maybe a bit of a lightning round this last little bit if I can find all the pieces that I'm looking for. So first, this I think is something we need to talk about. So hang on. Let me get everything. It's queued up. Now I just got to share it. Let me go here.
It's valuable to think ahead to what may happen in a second Trump term. This is frankly speculative nonfiction because we use the words that Trump and his allies have said, and we use them to talk about the future. Jail, of course, is the extreme part of the spectrum. Imprisonment is an extreme part. But think about IRS audits. Think about government pressure on media companies. Think about other forms of government interference. There are a lot of pressure points. And frankly, Rachel Maddow's not the only member of the media thinking about this. I've talked to the heads of news organizations, CEOs of media companies that are thinking through, not in dramatic fashion, not because they're afraid of going to jail, but because they want to know what could Trump do to use his power in a second term to punish the media.
And it's also now a real question whether the voters actually take that information and believe it.
It's
So that's pretty much the overwhelming voter response so far to Brian Stelter, otherwise known as Mr. Potato Head, who is apparently being allowed back on CNN again, which I find interesting since they fired him. But of course, he's mirroring and echoing Rachel Madcow's sentiment that, oh my God, Trump might throw me in jail. Look, folks, nobody cares. Rachel's audience is smaller than people that watch Nick at Night reruns on TV or TV Land reruns or Nick at Night reruns. So I don't think Trump really cares that much. As far as Stelter, sorry, I always want to try to call him Stelter because it rolls off the tongue better, but I guess it's Stelter, which is why I got tongue-tied there. But the thing about this is this guy's also pretty much irrelevant now. He's been fired from CNN. For some reason, they're now allowing him back through the gatekeeping section, so to speak, and letting him back on CNN, even though he was fired. But I would also, for those of you that got to see his face a moment ago, remind you, this guy's only in his mid-30s. How much evil have you had to do in your life to be this stressed out and look this old in your mid-30s? And this is why they're so afraid. Ladies and gentlemen, they know how much they lied to you in 2020. They know how much they lied to you again in 2021. They know. Because they could see the same things that I could see that we are now finding out are fact from none other than folks like the mental midget of the Potomac or the leprechaun of the Potomac, whichever one you want to call him, Dr. Anthony Fauci, who's basically said, hey, yeah, most of that COVID stuff, we made that up. We didn't really know what to do or what to tell people, so we just kind of pulled some stuff out of our ass to make people feel better. But, when the president did some off-the-cuff kind of things, instead of going along with those, he tried to correct him. But we all know why, though, too. Ladies and gentlemen, if not for COVID, and I'm not saying that I'm 90, that I'm 100% for certain that it happened on purpose. But what I am saying is the people that didn't like Trump saw an opportunity to make Trump go away. They flooded the airwaves with all of the negative things that he was putting on social media. They flooded the airwaves with all of the things taken out of context that he was saying during the briefings that people were like, oh my God, Donald Trump just said you should put sunshine in your butthole. No. Not actually what he said. Or he said you should inject bleach. No, that wasn't what he said either. But sure, go ahead. Keep it up. But the thing about it is, it worked then, along with the COVID changes to our voting laws, all of the things that it caused voter fatigue. People were suffering from both COVID fatigue and Trump fatigue, but now they're looking back at the time under Trump versus the time under Biden and remembering that they could actually afford to do things like go out to eat when Trump was in office before COVID. And it's just the truth of it. But that's why folks like Stelter and Mad Cow, or Mr. Potato Head, are as confused as they are, or as frustrated as they are, or as scared as they are, because they know what they've done to you. They know what their side would do if the shoe was on the other foot. That's one of the things that we have seen over and over again from leftists, the severe version of the leftists, because I've said this before. There are varying degrees of being a leftist. You are center left, then you get into lowercase left, and then you get into uppercase left, which is when you're basically as far left as you could go to the point where you're coming back around to the extreme right. Because unlike what everybody tries to tell you, our political spectrums are not a straight line. They are a circle. And if you go too far one direction, you wind up on the same side as the very people that you claim to hate. Because hate is similar no matter what letter's behind the name. So if you'll notice, a lot of these things that are being pushed as far right are actually far left. And that's just the truth of it. If you need any more of an explanation, then look no further than this. If you want to know who the real racists are, look up the actual story behind the character Uncle Tom, and then explain to me how that became a pejorative. Because it makes no sense unless they're the actual racist. You have a bunch of people of color screaming about the Jews. I was pretty sure we were told that they don't have the ability to be racist because only white people can be racist. However, they're being rather racist. We talked about that earlier in the program. And it's just where we are in this country right now, because whether anybody wants to admit it or not, we are in the middle of a national divorce. It hasn't been declared yet, hasn't gone to court yet, but we're in the middle of one. And battle lines are being drawn, and battle lines are being drawn in very specific ways. Battle lines are being drawn based on how certain blue cities and blue states are dealing with things like what they call gender-affirming care and DEI. They're being drawn by abortion rights, or whether it's even considered a right. And depending on whether you live in a blue state or a red state, that could be a different answer. There are battle lines being drawn right now. People like Jesse Kelly have been saying the only way to save the country was a national divorce for a long time. I used to think he was crazy. Then it kind of occurred to me that we're pretty much going through one right now. Because everybody is going into their own personal crucible and coming out with even harder firm beliefs than they had before they went in. Now, you can decide whether that's a good thing or not. That's not my call. I still think the truth is probably somewhere in the middle for everybody. But that's not where we live right now. Because one side has made their version of the middle, you have to do everything that you say we want you to do, or we're going to call you an extremist. That's not how moving to the middle works. And then when we don't do those things, then we're called an extremist, and then we're told that we're not willing to work with the other side, etc. That's not true. We would happily work with people that weren't insane. The left has gone insane. Some of the far, far right has gone insane. But again, please refer back to what I said a moment ago. You go too far one direction or the other, they wind up in the same place. So for those of us that aren't there, we're just looking at both sides going, what the hell has happened to you and how do we fix this? Because some people have gone too far to one extreme or the other and wound up in the same place. And it's just the truth of where we are. Brian Stelter happens to be one of those people. He is so convinced that he is going to be rounded up, even though he's completely irrelevant, other than helping me get paid through Twitchy and here. Not saying that to be necessarily mean, it's just the truth of it. Last I heard, dude was supposed to be working in Canada somewhere. Not that I care. I mean, I never want anybody, especially in this field, to wind up not having a job, even if I disagree with them, because this is a hard enough field to keep a job in anymore. I've had to create my own because there's been several times that I have come this close to making a breakthrough, either locally or other places, and it's just fallen apart. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to figure out how to do all this myself and tie in as many different ways to make money as I can, and we're going to make a go of it, and we're either going to do it or we're not. And that's pretty much where we are, and that's why so many more of you are seeing us now than you have before, because I've been slowly trying to figure out how to incorporate all the different ways to put us out into the interwebs. Speaking of which, for those who might care, we will, in the coming months, be launching a KLR Radio Twitch channel. Because, like I said, I just want to put us as many places as possible while we grow. Because I have loyal hosts, and we already have a loyal fan base, and now we're trying to see what we can do with it. Because it's not just me here. As I said, later tonight, you'll get to hear some other offerings if you come back. First, we have myself and at Scott's Fire on Twitter, or X, who actually also writes for Salem. She's with the PJ Media property. I write for Twitchy. And we do a show called Whatever. For those of you that may be just joining us, that is a show for Gen X, by Gen X, talking about all the things that piss us off. And we usually kick that off at 7 p.m. Eastern. Then at 8 p.m. Eastern, we usually have the Conservative Curmudgeon Radio Show, helmed by the ever-lovable Grouch, otherwise known as G on Twitter, but he is actually taking a break. So it will be Andrew doing an episode of From the Basement. I'll be hanging out with him, kicking it for about an hour. Then we move straight into Talk Murder to Me, one of KLR Radio's newest offerings. It is a real crime podcast hosted by Bumpstock Barbie and Bumpstock Ken, with special guest commentator this evening, Zelda Gabriel. So I'll let you check out all their promo stuff later, so you know what they're going to be talking about. Make sure you're back here with us for that one. And all things being equal and everything coming out all right, Ordy Packard and I will be your closing act on the Rick and Ordy show. And that one is every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. So, yeah, like I said, lots of folks here, lots of moving parts, lots of things going on. And I do want to read this because I thought this was pretty cool. If you have premium, or you know somebody that does, even if you don't, you should ask Grok what it thinks of you. Because I did this yesterday. I want to do it again just to see if it gives the same result. So hang on. All right, so what I'm asking it right now is, what do you think of KLR Radio? And it looks like it's pretty much the same answer that it gave me yesterday, so we're going to go ahead and go through that now. KLR Radio seems to be a lively, opinionated, and diverse radio network with shows covering a wide range of topics from politics to culture to sports. The hosts appear to be unafraid to voice their opinions and take a no-holds-barred approach to their discussions. They seem to pride themselves on providing a platform for all viewpoints and encouraging lively debate. Some of their shows, like the Conservative Curmudgeon Radio Show and the Toxic Masculinity, seem to lean towards conservative perspectives and a bit of tongue-in-cheek humor. Other shows, like the Whatever and Culture Shift, appear to take a more lighthearted and entertaining approach to discussing current events and cultural trends. Overall, KLR Radio seems to be a network that values free speech, lively debate, and a bit of humor in their discussions. So I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, just in case you were wondering, that's so yeah. If anybody says you should grok yourself, they're not being rude, by the way. But anyway, so I thought that was pretty cool. All right, well, believe it or not, we are just about out of time. I do have one more quick hit. I was gonna try to find the video for those of you watching on the streams, but I couldn't. For some reason, I can't find it now. But we touched on this a little bit earlier. But for some reason, Joe Biden did the Juneteenth celebration on June 10th. I don't know. Maybe he was confused. But so if you haven't seen the video yet, you should go find it because there's a clip that just, ugh, that's all I can say. So he's surrounded by a bunch of people of color, and they're all dancing and smiling and everything else, and he's just sitting there with the weird little Cheshire cat grin that he gets from time to time, and just basically looks completely out of sorts and out of place, and looks like the oldest white guy ever to be around a bunch of people of color, and it shows. And it was just a weird moment. May have some breaking news here. I'm trying. So, I'll have to look for this and maybe talk about it later tonight because we're just about out of time. But apparently, Fannie Willis was just slapped with a fresh warning from a Fulton County judge. This is according to the Trish Reagan show that just went live here on X. So, yeah, I think I'm honestly, going back to the whole, weird justice system we have right now. I'm really surprised that what has happened in New York has happened to even Trump, even though the people that are going after him the way that they have basically campaigned on doing it in the first place. It still kind of surprises me. But I don't think the rest of their cases are going to go very well. And this one, even though they did get the conviction, is most likely going to be tossed out on appeal. Now, the thing about that is, that still means that we have a convicted president running, or convicted felon running for president for the near future, unless they expedite the appeal somehow. The thing about it is, I think the left has kind of overestimated how much that matters to the American people, because we always have loved the outlaws. I mean, how many of us growing up, 60s, 70s, 80s, remember watching things like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid? Those guys should have been the bad guys, but they weren't in those movies. So I think they may have miscalculated. I guess only time will tell, because I know some people are really starting to freak out over these polls, which is why I'm saying, as we get ready to end the show, don't pay any attention to the polls. Just go vote. I don't care who you're voting for. Just go vote. These people need a clear message one way or the other, and that if that is, even with as broken as everything is, only one of them barely squeaks by, then that should let them know how tired we are of them giving us the same choices over and over and over again. Now, you can like what I'm saying, you can dislike what I'm saying. That doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is the fact that we need to stay more involved. One other quick hit on the way out the door. According to some of the more recent polls, Joe Biden's attempt to do an end run around SCOTUS and buy votes by forgiving student loan debt is largely unpopular. Gee, who could have seen that coming? All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this particular episode of The Rick Robinson Show, live right here on KLRMradio.com. Want to thank all of you for checking us out, for those of you that may be hanging out on the X feeds as well as elsewhere. And again, we do this thing every Monday through Friday between the hours of 3 and 5, except for the first Monday of the month. But unfortunately, we have reached the point where I do have to tell you this particular show is over.
What? Over? Did you say over? Nothing is over until we decide it is. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? Hell no!
Closing time. Open all the doors and let you out into the world.
This isn't over until I say it's over!
Closing time.
Well, that's great. That's just fucking great, man. Now what the fuck are we supposed to do? Game over, man. Game over.
Closing time. Time for you to go out to the places you will be from. Closing time. This room won't be open till your brothers or your sisters come.
I love you, Oklahoma. What a great crowd. I love you.